You are very probably not working out one or more of the 5 muscles that I'm going to share with you in this video. And yes, even if you're working out since years now, and yes, also even if you train calisthenics, just like I am doing. The thing is that I'm working out since years, literally now, and yet I really wish I started working out these muscles way sooner. Mainly because not working them out got me to injure myself over and over again and hurting my joints, my shoulders, and also to not be very aesthetic. And so if you really don't want to be wasting your time going to the gym, sweating hard, but then being unaesthetic, and also if you don't want to go to the gym and injure yourself maybe at the shoulder or some other joint and don't really realize why you're hurt and why you injured yourself, I highly recommend you to keep on watching and starting to train these muscles as quickly as possible. And I will share with you also how to train them correctly. So let's start with the first one. You're very probably not working out your rotator cuffs. Now, just like me a few months ago, you're probably asking yourself, what the fuck are my rotator cuffs? There are some muscles in your shoulder, and fun fact, I realized that I had those muscles when I injured myself at the shoulder, and I was there watching YouTube videos trying to figure out how to recover as quickly as possible. By watching those videos, there was this guy called Ian Barcego who basically made me realize that if I was injuring myself at the shoulder, it very probably could have been the case because my rotator cuffs were too weak. And it's also probably the case for you. So if you don't want to be hurting yourself at the shoulder over and over again and don't really realize why, start working your rotator cuffs. How do you work them out? It's actually very simple. It's the muscle that basically does this motion. You can do it on one side, like going in, putting resistance on the inside and also on the outside. So how do you work them out? Very simple. You just go at the cable machine, you take one and you just do the clean motion as, big range of motion as you can without hurting yourself with the right weight so that you're not there, doing ego lifting. You want to strengthen that part of your shoulder, and so you do it on one side, with the cable on that side, so really pulling, and then also on pushing, so basically going on the outside, obviously for both shoulders. And now my rotator cuff is literally stronger than my bicep because of how much I work them out. How often? About 2 to 3 times a week, just a few sets, 3 sets, something like that at the end of your workout. Don't have to overwork them, but just work them out and give them a little bit of recognition, a little bit of importance. The second muscle that you're very probably not working out is the back part of your upper traps. If you work out like normal calisthenics, you're very probably not working these muscles out. And even if you work on handstands, you very probably are more working on the front part of your shoulders and very lightly, your upper traps. But it's actually very simple. You can do shrugs to work them out, or what I am doing right now is basically, when I do my inverted rows, cable rows, I do them a little bit going up, and so basically every single time I'm doing this motion, and therefore I'm working the upper part of my upper traps, because very simply, if you're doing normal cable rows or normal inverted rows and pull-ups, you're working out really well your back, your lats and everything, but not really that upper part that is more responsible for like this motion. And I also do angels and devils, which is basically lying on the ground and doing this motion. You really work pretty much all the muscles in your back. And you really don't want to miss this out, because if you have like really flat upper traps, it doesn't really look very aesthetic. So it's a more of an aesthetic thing, to work out your upper traps, but also because they're functional, obviously, for handstands and things like that. The third muscle that you're very probably not working out is your forearm extension. So very often if you hang, you're doing things on the bars, you probably are going to have a strong, flexion, but very probably you're not working out your extension, right? Like how often do you have a resistance on extending your hands. It's actually very simple why you should be doing that. First of all, because it looks more aesthetic, like you don't want to have this part big, but this part here like strangely not developed. And also because it works, maybe you work on calisthenics skills, it's always useful to have all the muscles in your forearm developed, because you really are doing a lot of little motions, a lot of stabilization, and you want to have them strong. So it's actually very simple. What I used to be doing was to basically get some elastic bands and yeah, just tie them around my hand and just doing that over and over and over again until it starts to burn. But then I just bought myself on Amazon those $5 things, you know, those things that you put in your finger and you just do the same motion. So literally $10 or something like that, you can start working out your forearm extension and also work out your flexion and also all the movements. So if you have some dumbbells or things like that, you can move them around. You can use bands to really work out every single angle of your forearm, and that will be perfect. The fourth muscle that you're very probably not working out, guess what it is? It is your side delt. Most people that go to the gym, like if they work with weights, they're very probably going to work out their side delts. So if you mainly work normal gym, like you just go to the gym and lift weights, you're very probably going to work out your side delts. And you know why you want to work them out, because they really make your shoulders look bigger and so you become more aesthetic. So that's very important. But if you're working only on calisthenics, then you're probably missing on these muscles. You're very probably working out a lot your front delts through maybe handstand push-ups or things like that, but not really your side delts. You are working out the back part of your delts, maybe through, you know, the inverted rows. And as we said, if you do them going up, you're going to work them out even more, and maybe through the angels and devils, you know, the ones that I mentioned earlier, but very probably not a lot your side delts. So just do lateral raises with some weights. At the end of your push day, do 2 or 3 sets, and that's it, that's all. Literally don't need more than that. Fifth muscle group that you're very probably not working out is your neck. How many people work out their necks? Not many, and yet I've seen that it's strange to see someone with, like, you know, big traps and big shoulders and really big and strong, but then their neck is like a little turtle, right? It doesn't look very aesthetic, and also it's functional to have a strong neck. You know, it can prevent you from many injuries, not so much in calisthenics, but in your life in general. If you fall down or things like that, you want to have a strong neck, right? Your head is probably one of the most important parts of your body, so having a strong neck is first of all functional, and secondly very, very, very attractive. So if you want to work also on aesthetics, having a big neck is also a thing that you can do. Basically work them out very simply. You lay on a flat thing, and you just raise your neck in one direction, then you lay on your belly, and then you raise it back, and then you lay on the side, and then you raise it on one side and then the other side, and you all do all of these different angles. And then if it becomes too easy, then you basically just put a weight on your head or something like that, use your hands as a resistance or a band or things like that, and you are going to build a massive neck very quickly. What I like doing is basically working out my neck passively. So when I'm around and maybe I'm standing near a wall, what I do is just, you know, lay myself a little bit on the wall and just use my neck as a resistance. So I basically am working out my neck like that. I know it sounds strange, but it's literally what I do. What I like doing also is to use a dumbbell when I do work out my abs, and I basically put it on here on my chest, and then I have, you know, I put it like in contact with my chin, and so I have to have a constant pressure, and therefore I am also working out my neck. And so I don't really work often my neck because I'm working it out basically passively without specifically targeting it. But if you're not doing those things, I still recommend you to work out your neck. It's really important. And there's a little bonus. What's the biggest mistake that most people do? The muscle group that I really hope I started working out sooner, and that I see too many people not working out, especially if you work in calisthenics, are your legs, bro. Bro, how many people I see not working out their legs? If you go normally to the gym, you probably have your push-pull leg split, but as calisthenic guy, very probably you're not going to work out your legs because you're going to be thinking like that's going to make all the skills harder to learn and things like that. But really, I so hoped so much that I started working out my legs earlier, because when I was there not working them out, I was starting to build a good upper physique, but then my legs were kind of skinny and at the same time had fat on them and zero muscle, and so it looked so awful, like was so awful. So having strong legs is first of all very important to be athletic for your normal day-to-day life. Having strong legs will help you in everything. But also it is very aesthetic. Like if you have strong, good-looking legs and not so developed upper body, it's way better than a really developed upper body and like weak legs. At least in my opinion, it looks less awkward, less strange to see. How do you work out your legs? You do squats, you do, glute bridges, you do hamstring raises, you do tibialis raises. Like there are so many exercises you can do. You can do leg extensions if you have a machine for that. You go to the gym, you can do hamstring curls for hamstrings, but you can really do many exercises to train your legs. And even if you don't have any weights, you work only calisthenics, that's not an excuse to not work out your legs. I used to have that same excuse, but when I actually started to understand that I had to work out my legs, I quickly found many ways to work them out without even weights. You can start doing pistol squats or sissy squats that are hard, or start working on Nordic curls, or use resistance for the calves and things like that. So there are really a lot of ways to work out your legs even without any weights. And what not working them out at all is really, I think, one of the biggest mistakes. Like this is probably the one I wish I started working out sooner out of every other one. So these were the 5+1 muscle group that I wish I started workout sooner, that will get you to build an aesthetic, strong and healthy physique that will basically also enable you to not get injured every other week or every other month because your rotator cuff is too weak, or your extenders are too weak, or the upper traps are too weak, or this and that, or your neck is too weak. So work out these muscles and you will see that you will become way more aesthetic and hurt yourself less. Anyways, if you really want to build your dream physique and learn everything you need to get there, I highly recommend you to check out the link in the description down below. So really hope this video helped you out, and if it actually did, make sure to leave a like to let me know, and to subscribe to not miss on my future videos. And yeah, I wish you all the best and see you very soon. Ciao.